Peach McINTYRE. Peach McINTYRE. You are killing me. She sat up here and said, Wood said, my daddy died. And she said, oh, so you finna go over there? like, Peach, are you serious? This man's father just died. His brother just died literally the other week, a few weeks ago. So she says she loves her husband, but she don't like him. That's what she's saying. I get it. Who hasn't been with somebody that done pissed them off to the point where I love you so much till you took so much from me that you killed me? We've all been there. So I get why she is battling with herself about the situation. But, you know, some people getting on here making videos saying like, oh, you know, she dead wrong, da-da-da-da. When people die, you don't play like that, da-da-da. Listen, this is how I always say, I don't speak ill of the dead. If I don't like you in life, I don't speak nothing bad about you after you dead or during life because it's not worth it. It's not worth it to put the energy in. But see, some people think it is. Now, granted, if you do, that's your business. Like she said, I'm finna tell it all now. When she said, when her mother sent her that cease and desist with the misspelling and the grammar being messed up and the punctuation being horribly wrong, I said, I already know she about to eat this up. I say, yo, and some people be like, oh, well, y'all condone that. Y'all Peach Patch people, y'all condone that. I don't condone shit. That ain't my business. That ain't has nothing to do with me. That's Peach. And listen, that's her family. I don't know nothing about her family. I don't know her story to the T other than what she tells us. It could be more, it could be worse, or it could be less. Just like same thing with her mother. I don't know. It's not for me to judge. And that's the thing is everybody want to be the maker and the end-all be-all. And we got to relax with that. Even on these YouTube streets, we got to relax. But there was this guy who said something like, he was like, oh, I dare let a bitch fucking play in my face about my mama or some shit like that. It's like, I'm like, yo, people are really taking it personal. Like this is their parents. And I understand some people have that dynamic that is a positive dynamic with their parents. And that's a blessing. Like, I have that with my father. Like, if my dad died, that would hurt me. If my mother died, that would hurt me. But me and my mother, we are not close. We do not get along. And I know that's okay. You know, and that's what the thing about it is everybody wants you to be like, and that's the problem. Everybody wants you to be like, oh, honor that mother and that father and your days will be long. I swear people read that Bible a lot, but they also forget that the Bible also says that children are a gift from God. And a lot of the times, parents don't treat their children according to the way that God tells them to. They just said, train up the child and he will follow. Listen, people gonna do what the hell they want to do. That's just the facts of life. People gonna sit here and sleep with who they want to be with. They're gonna be with who they want to be with. They're gonna mess with things that they shouldn't mess with. But you know what? It's called free will. And everybody has it. Just like the same way people go out and cheat, that's free will. So I think that some people fail to understand that the emotion that you have for somebody that you love in the midst of them hurting you is different from an enemy hurting you. When you get into an argument with a coworker, with a friend, it's a whole different vibe. It's a whole different feeling. But when you get in a disagreement with your spouse or somebody you married to, like I'm married, so I understand that. But I wouldn't go to the levels Peach go to, but we have two different walks of life. You know, I didn't have that experience with my parents. Me and my parents started to not get along as I became an adult, not at childhood, you know? So it's just more so like my experience is my parents have done things very inappropriate, very disrespectful, but at the same time, I feel like where I am, I've forgiven them. So, you know, Peach hasn't forgiven her mother because also her mother hasn't owned up to whatever she did wrong. But like I said, I've been watching Peach for years. And I can tell y'all this. Peach story ain't changed. That don't mean it's true and I don't mean it ain't true. But what I'm saying is the story hasn't changed. The story has remained consistent to the T. And I mean like even some of the stories she used to tell when she would do her videos with cooking with her mom. Some of those videos she would even say like some of the things she experienced in those videos, and it would allude to what she was talking about with the situation at hand. So I feel like people trying to play Like they don't understand where her beef is. Her beef with her mother is not our beef. If you feel like this person is disrespectful to their parent, do not follow them. Do not engage. Do not comment. Do not subscribe. Delete them out your algorithm. Get rid of them. I don't understand why if you don't like something, why watch it. But you know why we watch things that we don't like? Because it's entertaining. And this is entertainment. Now, is this her real life? I assume it is because this is stuff that she's been talking about for years. So I assume it's her real life. So I can't say it's not. But we can't tell her her experience. We can't tell her how to feel. How she chooses to express it, we can't tell her that either. As long as she not hurting her children and physically hurting nobody, if she's telling her truth and that's her truth and those are the versions of the events that she felt she lived, or not even she felt she lived, or she lived, we were not there. We were not privy to that situation. We were not privy to the issues that her and her mom was having. You know, that's just what it comes down to. We're not able to sit here and go back in time and say, let me get the video recorded and see the times when her mom wouldn't pick her up from her job and Wood was the only one picking her up. And when they broke up at one point, that she had to call somebody else to come get her. And she was pregnant. You know, we're not privy to all those things. These are just the versions of the events that we get from Peach's side. And then we get the version that we got from her mother's side. But ultimately, we weren't there, so we didn't live in that experience. I think people got to realize that as much as we want to be so inclusive and be involved and be like, oh, don't treat your mom that way, and oh, don't treat your partner that way, we're not living that experience with them. Now, how she moved, I would not treat my mama like that. Me and my mama do not talk. I ain't talked to my mama in a year, and that was by choice, me choosing not to talk to her. But I wouldn't treat my mama like that. I wouldn't go on the internet and bash her and say all these things because I didn't have that experience with my mom. My mom was not a bad mom. She just became real nasty. Like, after a few events in her personal life, she became real nasty as she got older. And then, so I wouldn't do that to her. But, or my spouse, if my spouse cheated, that's what I would say. I would be like, you, bye, get away from me, you're done. I wouldn't put that on the internet. But some people will, like Peach. So people who are going through those experiences understand the experience because they're looking at a version of themselves like, oh, damn, I'm going through that too. The difference is we don't put it on the internet. Same thing with reality TV. We're not on reality TV. Like, I wouldn't put that on the internet. I wouldn't do that. Like, I wouldn't take it that far. I wouldn't sit there and put my spouse on blast like that. I wouldn't do that, but that don't mean other people wouldn't do that. And at the end of the day, if that's how she choosing to heal, right or wrong, right and different, hey, we can't tell nobody how they got to do it. We can't tell nobody how to live through their experience and how to cope. You know, we could say seek therapy, but you know, you got people out here, you know, calling CPS on her, like trying to get her kids taken away. I'm like, damn, y'all don't think that's going a little too far? Like, that's not too much, like, to call CPS on somebody because you don't like them? I definitely do think CPS is a little far to go to call on somebody because you think they're deranged. I don't know if she's been clinically proven to be bipolar or schizophrenic or have any of those. You know, people just say these things on the internet. We don't know that to be a fact. So people need to start saying allegedly because everybody wants to sue, but they're not using the word allegedly because you assume you know everything about what happens in people's lives based on these 30-minute or 20-minute videos. Even if you put out 10 videos in one day, right? That's not going to show your whole day. That may show about an hour or 2 hours out your day. Even if you put out 10 videos. It ain't gonna literally show everything that goes on with you. It ain't gonna put everything on the front end. It's just gonna be partial. So the thing about it is people going on here screaming and ranting and raving. I feel like, listen, if you ain't gotta pay for it, the kids is not hurt, they're not suffering. Other than, yes, do I feel like this being on the internet is somewhat hurtful to the children? I do. I'm not that type of person. I do because I can see it as being too much, being that the older son is, I think, 17 or something like that. Being that he's older and, you know, his friends are privy to what goes on in his household, which can become a situation of bullying. which that could evolve to another situation of, depression and everything going forward. I do not agree with it. But just because I don't agree with it means that I have the ability to shut it down. It don't work like that. That's not real life. So we have to remember that, no, Peach is not perfect, but who is? Does Peach have issues? Yes, but who don't? Is everybody sitting here going through something in life, and sometimes the way they choose to express it is not the best way? True. But sometimes you gotta lay that shit out how you feel. Sometimes you gotta say, fuck it, fuck you. Sometimes it's really like that. It's really like that. And it's not because you a bad person. Sometimes you just got took to that level, and you can't be brought down without expressing it the way you need to get it out. And that's what I think it is. Now, I have taken Peach's classes twice. I've took her last class she did last week. I believe it was last week on a Wednesday. That class went to like 10:30. It was late. And then I took a class for January 1st to the 7th. And honestly, it ain't nothing crazy. It's really basic stuff that you can look and find out yourself. That's pretty much what I took from it. I gained a lot of things from it. I learned a lot, and it taught me a lot. But I also know that I could have did that same shit by myself. Which she does tell you, like, hey, anything that I'm teaching you, if you go do the research, you really could do it just for yourself. But if you choose to sit here and come to this class and learn this way, that's just another avenue to take. Now, people sit up here, get mad, take the class, and say, oh, well, it was nothing really crazy special. Ain't nobody told you to pay for that class. If she told you to pay for that, if she told you to jump off a bridge, you gonna jump off a bridge? Now, for me, I had told my partner, I had told my fiance, I said, listen, after this class, that's it. I ain't taking no more of her classes. Because I said, this is basic knowledge. This is basic stuff that you actually can just find for your damn self. If you actually take the time. After taking her first class, I knew that, but I took her second class just because I thought maybe it'd be a little bit more informative. But I feel like if I was to actually ever do one of Peach's classes or something again, I need a 1-to-1. I need a 1-to-1, or we need a 1-to-3. Her one and 3 people, she did, and we paid like, I don't know, a little extra or something for the class. But I can't. She had like over 400 something people in that last class, which it was, like I said, it didn't take away from the knowledge. It just was like a lot going on, which for me that just don't work. But that works for others. Now the first class I took, the 1st to the 7th, that worked for me. But I also realized even then, hey, this is stuff that I can find by myself. I really don't even need to be in this class because this is stuff that I really could just do on my own if I took the time to go just research. That's all. So when people say, oh, the class was a gimmick or you were scammed, were you really? Because she does say this is stuff you can find out yourself. I think people need to start worrying about themselves. I'm not saying don't comment, because look, I'm commenting right now. I want some views off of this. I want to get monetized off of this. I want to make me some money off of this too. But when it comes to certain things, it's just like, do we really know people's lives off of watching 5 of their videos a day? Do we really? Do we really?